Good afternoon. It's really a pleasure and a delight to be here amongst all of you. Being from a BIT alumni, I personally feel obliged whenever I get a chance to come and meet all of you. Because in whatever form, if we can give back to the alma mater, I think that will be great. So what I'm going to do is I'll be taking you through my journey of life, how even as an engineer, without even losing out on a corporate career, how can you manage both the sports field? I have two principles in life. The first principle is struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. Every day in the morning, a lion wakes up and thinks that he has to run than the fastest deer, otherwise he will starve to death. And every morning, a deer wakes up and she thinks that if she cannot outrun the lion, she will not survive. Whether you're a lion or a deer, when the sun starts, you better start running. In the competitive world today, friends, it's very, very important to be agile, to be nimble, to be on your toes, because the competition is getting better of you. And therefore, the second principle which I apply is that the Olympic motto. And what is the Olympic motto? It's about Cetius, Altius and Fortius. Higher, stronger and faster. It's very important today that we realize that if I'm an Olympian, every Olympian, I'm an Olympian not because I'm fast. I'm not an Olympian because I'm stronger. I'm an Olympian because I know others are faster and stronger. As an Olympian, you always look forward to the competition. Because you never know which person in the world across the globe is doing better than you. And that goes for all of us here. Every person in the world is trying to strive hard. But the important thing is, are we actually trying to improve ourselves? And that brings me to the first lesson of my life, which is about dreams. We all need to dream big, because what you dream is what you will become. When I was in class 2, at an age of 7 years, my father put me in a boarding school. The reason he put me there was because he wanted me to become an all-rounder. He said there'll be enough toppers, there'll be enough successful sports person, but there are very few people who marry both the studies and sports. And he used to write letters to us, talking about big personalities, what they have done, whether it's Jawaharlal Nehru, whether it's Mahatma Gandhi. And at an age of 7, it was instilled in my mind, we started thinking big. The year was 1982. I was the captain of my school. They were looking for volunteers to participate in the Asian Games. I got selected, I went there. The opening ceremony of the Asian Games, I got a chance to witness. What an awe for a school guy being in the Asian Games arena, watching the Asian Games was a great feeling. It was such a proud moment when the Indian team walked in. The entire crowd, my friends, stood up, cheered, clapped, and that day just a thought came into my mind. Can I take this Indian flag one day and carry the Indian flag? It was a dream. That brings me to the second point. You all have a dream. You all want to become great, you all want to become successful, you all want to become winners. But what is important is action with vision. Action without vision is just a dream. Action with vision can change the world. What I did was I saw the opening ceremony, I came back to the archery ground, I was there for 15 days. Morning to evening I was in the ground watching the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans, what are they doing? How are they shooting? I used to talk to the coaches. I wanted to talk to the archers. I wanted to assimilate whatever good things they were doing. And then I used to see when I talked to the Korean coach, what did he say? What did I talk to the Japanese, what they said? I came back to my school. After school hours, every day for 2 hours, I used to start practicing getting my bow. I didn't have a coach. I called my PTI teacher, I told him, I knew physics. So I said, if I'm using the same force and the same action, my arrows will always land in the same place. So I just told him, just watch me. When I'm performing, when I'm shooting, just watch me. See that am I replicating every time. So whenever my follow through was not good, when my release was not good, my bow hand was shaking, he used to tell me, my timing was, he used to tell me. I started working on that. That is what I'm saying. And finally, in 1985, I became the junior champion, then it became the national games champion, and in 1986, I carried the Indian flag for the Asian Games and the 88 Olympics. So I'm an Olympian because I'm not afraid to try. That's the Olympic spirit. The quest for improvement is always there. That's very, very important in life. You have to continuously try to improve yourself. Forget competition, beat yourself. That's the winner. A champion always beats himself over and over again. So that is what I did. I created your own competition because I did not have any competition. I was in BITMesra studying here, shooting behind Hostel 1, no competition. So what did I do? Every day I used to set a target for myself. Today I'm going to shoot 300. Tomorrow I'm going to shoot 301. Next week I'm going to shoot 302. So I used to better my own record. No competition, but that's what is important. You got to get out of the comfort zone. Many times when I used to practice at back of Hostel 1, many of my friends used to say, I'm trying to impress the girls going in the bus. That's the common BIT lingo. But then I was not. But that's it. But what I used to do, even on Sundays, everybody who was training here, they knew 4 to 6 I'll be training, whether it's exam, no exam. Just after the college hours, I used to be there in the field training for 4 to 6. 6 to 7, I was in the gym training myself. 7 to 8, I was running. And 8 to 12, I was studying. So I could manage. It is not that you cannot do it. I was just like one of you. I did it, so can you. But it's important to get out of that comfort zone. On Sundays, I used to go to Kolkata just to learn from each and every coach. Because that time, archery, the Makkah Madinah of archery was Kolkata. So I used to learn. So learning, you never stop. You learn from everybody, filter it out, and then use what is the best for yourself. So therefore, I am an Olympian because I know that there are people who can accomplish more. That's very, very important in life. You always feel that there's somebody ahead of you. Because if you feel there's somebody ahead of you, you will constantly try to beat the competition. And that's what I used to do. When I started winning medals, it's very important to know what the competition is doing in any field which you are. So what I used to do, I used to analyze the videos of all these world champions. Whenever I used to go into world championship, if I won, fine. If I didn't win, I used to sit back and watch the champion fighting for the gold. Observe what he was doing. Came back, shooting. Again, I did a video analysis of myself. And that's the way I completely self-motivated. I mastered the art of, the technique, and I started improving. 1993, the Federation International Cup was being held in Kolkata. I had a match against the world champion. He was the current world champion, Simon Fairweather, the gold medalist in the Sydney Olympics. I did my morning warm, jog up, everything I did, came back to my room. 3 hours, friend, from 9 to 12 o'clock, I was doing mental training. I was beating in my mind every time I shot an arrow. I shot an arrow into an X, and he shot an arrow also into an X, but I was closer to the center. So while he was the world champion, I was always defeating me in his mind. 3 hours, only doing mental training, only perfecting my technique in my mind. 2 o'clock, the game started. I just went I went into subconscious mind. I just allowed myself to perform. I continuously shot 10 out of 10. Tiebreaker. Both of us shot 10. I shot a perfect X. He shot 2 millimeters away from the X. I won the game. That is the spirit. That mental toughness has to be there. If you want to become great, if you want to become a champion, you want to go into any startup, business, anywhere, you have to have that mental edge. In the Olympics, it is all the people who go in the Olympics have the same physical strength. They have trained themselves for 4 years. It's only the person who has a better mental edge becomes the winner. So, finally, in 1992, the government of India awarded me with the Arjun Award, the first BITian to get the Arjun Award in 1992. What is important is I never focused on the end result. You never focus that I'll get 100 out of 100 in my mechanics. No. I focused on my performance, on my studies. If I study well, result will come. If I perform well, result will come. It is the performance which matters. In archery, what we call is shooting in the present. You learn from the past, shoot in the present, prepare for the future. So what is important is, are you shooting in your present? Are you trying to assimilate all the resources, all the energy to ensure that you are the best today? And that's what we did. The other thing which comes up in any business, any successful venture will be learning from failures. I learned from failures, friends. More than 100 times I was supposed to give the winning shot in a team event, whether it's a national, state championship, world championship, Asian championship. I did not. I failed. But every time I failed, I made a plan that next time I'm going to succeed. So over and over 100 times I failed, but that only made me a more successful archer. Because every time I learned from it, what did I do wrong? I used to video analyze, I used to talk to the coaches, I used to talk to my friends. Watch me, tell me what can I do better. That is the spirit. You have to learn from failures. 96 Olympics, we took the Indian team, we missed the medal. I was rejected. The whole country was saying so much money spent, everything spent, we failed. But that did not deter me. Because when the failures come, that is the time is where the champions come out, the leaders come out with persistence and commitment. I did not lose out. I said, no, I'm going to win. I will make it happen. And therefore what happened was, as an Olympian, I kept on trying that to improve, to do better every day. So in 1906, I came back to Tata Steel and I wrote a letter to my MD, Dr. Jamshedji Irani. I said, sir, you are in a place of Jharkhand. You are minting money from Jharkhand. You are doing so well. Tata Steel is doing well. But what are we doing for the people of Jharkhand, for their sport, which is the tribal archery, the tribal sport of Jharkhand? Can we do something? I wrote him a letter. I said, I want to set up an academy. Will you help me? He agreed. But he said, then in that case, you have to move from your IT career, move back to sports. Now, that was a big question mark. My entire family, my friends, my bosses, everybody discouraged me. What are you doing, Sanjeev? You have such a beautiful career. Why are you leaving and going into a sports? But I wanted to make that difference. I had told myself that I want to give back to the country. I set up the academy. Within 4 years, friend, I set up, it's an ISO system I developed there. I got the best coaches of the world to come there to train my people. Best of the system I displayed. Best of the coaches, I sent my coaches for training abroad. Got the knowledge from Korea. Implemented it here, and within 4 years, I had given a target of 4 years to my MD. Within 2 years, we started winning all the national medal in the first year, second year, all the Asian medals, third year, we were winning at the Junior World Championship. And we won the Junior World Championship, and that is what we are saying is, what I did was, I did goal setting. Very, very important in life. With all my archers, what I did was, I used to tell them small goals. First, you win the state, then you win the national, then you win the Asian, then you win the Junior World, then go into the Senior World, and then you finally win the Olympics. So I created a 4-year plan. First year, first 6 months, you got to shoot 1100, 1150, 1175, 1200, 1225, 1250. So every quarter there was a target till the 4 years. But the only best could stay with me. I was very ruthless. And that is the message I want to give you. When you set up your companies, when you set up your startups, when you set up business career, be ruthless when it comes to performance. Because if you want the best, give the best. I wanted the best of the players with me who can stand my training. And therefore, by the end of 4 years, hardly there were 4 archers with me out of the 32 archers I took. Because many of them had to move out because they could not meet the target which I set for them. But those 4 archers went on to win the medal. And finally, we created 3 world champions. Jayant Talukdar, Dola Banerjee, Deepika Kumari, all became world champions. They won the world record. It was possible, and we did it. Therefore, the other factor which comes with a championship, which comes with a leader, is about risk-taking. Every person who wants to become great, every person who wants to become successful has to take risk. Without risk, you cannot. Leaders take risk. Champions take risk, because you need to excel yourself. You need to bring limits. You need to impose limits on your body to excel in that performance in the Olympics. You need to take risk. In 2004, what happened was, I was in the World Championship at New York, taking the Indian team. For the first time, the Indian team stood 4th and 6th, qualified. Only 3 countries with the men and the women team qualified: USA, Korea, and India. We qualified. And the next day in the New York Tribune, it said, "Dark horse, India emerges." Because I knew we were knocking on the door, we will win. That day I saw a different game known as compound archery. Compound archery and recurve archery, the only difference is, for a short-heighted person, for a long-hearted person, because of my arm length, I can draw more in a recurve archery, and therefore I can shoot higher power and I can be more accurate. But my archers in India were shorter in height, especially our Jharkhand archers. And many people who weeded out had no career. And then I thought I needed to create a career for them. I needed to create a career for those Indians who could not adopt to recurve, but they needed compound. I bought the compound bow back here. The entire archery fraternity went against me. My own archers whom I taught recurve, they went against me. They said, what are you doing, sir? You are a recurve archer, you are a national champion, you are looking at Olympic medal and you're bringing in compound. I said, this compound is not for you. This compound is for those archers who cannot make the Olympic medal, but they can win the world championship. And then I started training myself. Nobody. I used to, just whatever I saw in the New York championship, I went into the video because by that time in the internet it was there. I started training, looking at the videos and started training. There was no support, nothing. Nobody was ready to sponsor me. First, in the nationals, we tried to bring the compound in the national championship, became the national champion in 2004. The only Indian who has won both the recurve and the national champion in double title. Next year, what I did was, I gathered 4 archers. I said, if I have to create a team, I need people. So I looked at archers who were ready to buy their own bows. I created 4-member team. I started training them and took them to the Asian meets. We started winning. That is the time that the government realized that I meant business. Archery has a potential. We can win. And then slowly sponsors came in. My archery further grew. And all the archers who could not win the Olympic medal suddenly had a life because they could think of becoming world champion. 2005, the first tribal archer of India who became the national champion, world champion was Paltan Hansda, who became the world champion. 2007, Jhanu Hansda became the first tribal girl to become the Asian champion. Never in the history of India, a tribal person has become a world champion, and that we created it. The end was not there. We went on winning the medal. Abhishek Verma became the world champion. We won the runners-up in the world championship. Recently in the cadet world championship, we were the runners-up. So we continued. Then came about the next thing which I wanted to talk about was that can-do and the will-do attitude. Every person who becomes successful, friends, has this can-do and the will-do attitude. And I want to tell you this story about this guy who is known as Rakesh. Rakesh is a guy, I found him, he met with an accident. He was crippled. He was there in Jammu, we were going, my coach Kuldeep saw him in the streets. He went to him. He found that he was good for nothing. His family had written him off. He was only waiting that, okay, I have nothing to do. He has lost all his self-control, self-confidence. We said, would you like to do archery? He was flabbergasted. He said, what, sir? I cannot do anything. I am paralyzed from below. He said, no, but your upper is strong. You can do. We brought him to the archery center in Jammu. Kuldeep and we started coaching him. And friends, 6 months down the time, September he started. Last month we had the trial for the Para-Asian Games. He shot a 340 plus score, which the top people in archers shoot. You can see him shooting a perfect 60. See here, a perfect 60. That means if 6 times he can shoot a 60, he can create a world record that nobody can beat. And he's the guy, and in the Asian Games, Para-Asian Games, I'm sure he's going to win a medal for you. Finally, in 2007, I got the Dronacharya Award by the highest recognition by the government of India. So I feel that each one of us has the ability. We have the confidence, we have the self-discipline. If you want to serve your passion, you can still do it. I did it. I was one of you. So can you. So my success mantra for all of you will be the 3 Ds and the 3 Cs. Discipline, devotion and dedication, courage, conviction and commitment. If you have it, I can assure you, friends, you all will be winners. Lastly, I just want to say, I'm an Olympian because at heart I know all of you are Olympians. It's a question of winning, it's a question of getting the right attitude, it's a question of coming up and going ahead in life. We will meet again in 2024. I'll come back on this very stage with the Olympic medal story, and I'm sure that day many of you sitting there will be sitting here, standing here giving the TED talk saying how best you became the best startup and the best entrepreneur and the best career. Thank you. Jai Hind.